So recently, the whole hustle and grind mindset has basically just become a commonly accepted fact. Like, you need to be grinding constantly in order to accomplish anything meaningful. But I really reject this idea, to be honest. Recently, I made this post in the YouTube community page where I just said, I like having fun days. And so, what I mean by fun days, it's not just like days that you just sit around and do nothing all day and just be completely unproductive. I mean days when you actually just do enjoyable things, like that are meaningful. Like doing stuff like spending time with friends and loved ones, doing stuff like reading and getting more educated on different topics. That's what I mean when I say fun days, and I think those are very important to have. I think we can all basically agree on that, but still, a lot of these people in this self-improvement space kind of even create this idea that maybe even those are not good, that maybe you should be so focused on your work that even having fun days where you spend time with friends and family is a waste of time. Here's one mindset I've been kind of having over the past I've been kind of shifting towards this mindset. This idea of sustainability over maximum effort. So kind of think of it this way. A big thing right now is sustainability in terms of the environment. Like, how can we reduce our fossil fuel emissions? How can we make it so we're not extracting as much natural resources from the earth so we can just survive on earth for a longer period of time? How can we create a world that we can live in for a longer period of time? And that's basically the same thing with productivity. A lot of people have this kind of extreme mindset that you should just be working nonstop. But the problem with this is that it's very hard to keep this up for the long term. Most people who do this, they maybe grind constantly for like a week. They get super motivated and they're, working so hard for a week. But then they just lose interest, or they get tired of working nonstop and they revert back to their old ways where they just waste time and be completely unproductive. It's just not sustainable because you'll easily get burnt out. Meanwhile, the other idea is just to be productive a good amount of the time. Still create times for breaks, create time for rest, meditate, get educated in your free time, but also be doing good work for a majority of the time that you have available. So really just don't do things that will get yourself completely burnt out is really what I'm saying. And the thing about this is obviously it is sustainable. You can keep this up for a long period of time without any breaks because it's just a good way of living your life, and it's easy to do over long periods of time and to keep doing it. It's perfectly sustainable. Think about it like this as well. So imagine you're like an athlete and you're the best in the world, but then for some reason you just stop, like you retire. You may still be the best athlete in the world at that sport, but you're basically not anymore, because if you've retired, it's like you're no longer competing. You no longer have the chance to prove that you're the best athlete in the world. So somebody else is going to come along, and maybe they're not necessarily better at you at the sport, but just since they're competing and you're not, they're the ones who's going to be, championed as the best of all time, whereas you'll just be on the sidelines. Really, life is not about being the best. It's more about just lasting longer than everybody else, like staying with it longer than everybody else. When everybody else is, giving up, sticking with longer, because eventually you will become better than all the other people who gave up. At least that's what I think. One way I've kind of been working on this strategy of, sustainable productivity is through gamification. Basically this idea that you can make doing work enjoyable. Doing work doesn't have to be this boring process that everybody hates. It can actually be fun at the same time. So there are a variety of different methods you can use to accomplish this. A lot of my videos talk about different ways that you can gamify your life, but more than anything else, I hope this video just gives you kind of more of an insight into why this is important. Because you don't want to just be productive for a week and then just give up. You want something that you can keep going for a long period of time. You want something that's a way you can be productive for years in the future. If you are interested in learning more about this idea, I actually have a free guide basically going in depth into how to gamify literally any part of your life. If you want, you can check out the link in the description below. But anyways, this has been Jimmy, signing off.